Yo, what up guys, my name is Yama and I am your guest presenter for Living Life by Design with Amanda Matshaka. Today in studio we are joined by the trending queen herself, Miss SA 2019, Zozibini, as she shares her journey to Miss SA 2019.
Now, before she was crowned on the day of the crowning event, Zozi said, I quote, "Every year I have watched Miss SA with family or friends rooting for my favorites. It is so crazy and still unbelievable to me that I will be walking on that stage today." Well, not only did she walk on the stage, but she walked away with the title. Welcome to Channel Africa and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. I see you stalked me a little there.
We have to do that. It's part of our job.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
How crazy is it though that you were saying that you couldn't believe that you were walking on that stage and now you have the title?
I know. For me, at some point, it was just a matter of I cannot wait to walk on that stage. Of course, I wanted to win. Everyone wanted to win. But for me, even the opportunity to have been able to walk on the Miss South Africa stage meant a lot. And so that's what that post meant to me, that, I've achieved that. And yeah, it was just incredible.
And how prepared were you mentally?
I was very prepared because I had done Miss South Africa before and I was not prepared at all when I came back the first time. And so when I came back the second time around, you could just tell that there was a difference. My friends and my family could tell that I was in a more relaxed state, and I had a purpose this time and I knew what my purpose was 100%. And so I was very much prepared. I was.
Now take us through your childhood.
Yes.
How was life growing up in Eswatini?
I grew up between Eswatini and Sedutjwa. So my mom is originally from Edutjwa, in a village there, Salota, and she's a teacher there, and my dad worked there as well. And so I went to my primary schooling at Edutjwa, and then during weekends would go Kutsolo. So it was really me balancing, two of those places where my mom and dad are from. And growing up there was absolutely amazing. I think I wouldn't have turned out to be the way that I am if I hadn't grown up where I grew up. Humility and kindness and hard work is really our way of life, back at home. And it really shaped me to be the person that I am today. And so walking in with those traits and those things that I learned into the real world and meeting, other new people, it really helped me a lot along the way.
At what age did you know that you wanted to be a beauty queen?
Sure, at a very young age, I was actually introduced to it by my mother because growing up, I was extremely shy and I didn't have friends and I really didn't know how to communicate or be in spaces with people. And because I didn't play sports or anything, my mom was so worried about me that she introduced me to this church pageant, Methodist church. And she said, just do it for fun, just to meet other kids. And that's really where it developed for me. It wasn't just a beauty pageant thing. It marked a very significant part of my life where I started to come out of my shell, make friends, meet new people. And then from then on, I just wanted to find out about the world and to just be excited about life as well. So that's really when it started. And I think I must have been 7 years old.
All right. So from that time, you knew that then you would want to carry on with this, or it was just still something that you were passing time with?
At the time, I was just passing time, but then I did another one again, and then I started watching the women that came out of, the Miss South Africa pageant and the things that they were doing for the country and the society and for themselves. And it inspired me, to know maybe I wasn't wasting my time. One day I'm going to be able to use this platform, to empower myself and to empower others and to just really make a difference. So when I started out, it was just fun, but then I realized that it can actually be, an incredible tool to use.
And apart from the church pageant that you participated in as a start, which other serious pageants then shaped you to be the kind of a woman that you are today?
I think I've done about 2 serious ones because I did one in varsity, which was quite different from the ones I did from back home in a small town and in a village, because now, I was open to people from different backgrounds as well, and it was at a much larger scale. And then after that, I did Miss Mamelodi Sundowns, which was incredible as well, in the Eastern Cape. I won that one in the Eastern Cape, but I didn't win the national one. But those are the 2 ones that I really think also were very significant in my journey.
How much of family support have you been enjoying since you pursued this journey of beauty pageants?
A lot. If there's overdoing it, my family overdoes it a lot. My dad especially. My mom is very relaxed and trusts that, I know what I'm doing, and she's just letting me, go out and be myself. My dad, on the other hand, is still very overly protective, and he calls every 5 seconds, and it's just been incredible getting the support from them. And my sisters as well, they've been incredible. And when we speak of family, for me, it's not really just my family as well, where I come from. They've sort of become family at this point, because this is not just for me. I've realized it's for all of us. It means a lot to them as much as it does to me.
Now, with your crowning, there's been so much excitement going on. I've been following the Miss SA pageant for a very long time, but I would liken your crowning to the one of Jackie Mofokeng when she became the first Black Miss South Africa. Why do you think there is so much hype, so to speak, around your crowning?
Firstly, I'm an African natural haired woman. I think that's where most of it came from, because it was interesting for people to see. It was new to people as well, because they'd never seen it happen before. In the past, beauty pageants viewed beauty, in a very different way. And maybe, for lack of a better word, I'm going to say in a westernized way. And then for me to come in with the hair that I came in my natural state as possible, really sparked something in the country, in South African women as well. So I think that's why it's such a big topic, because it's a change, it's something new.
What made you want to embrace your natural beauty? You're beautiful, your hair is beautiful, and it's so refreshing to see a queen in all her natural beauty.
So I've had this hairstyle for about 2 years now. 2017, I just decided to cut my hair because I just wanted something new, and I loved it. And before I cut my hair, actually, I had taken a long time to come to that decision, because I feared not being beautiful enough, because I was so used to looking a certain way and people saying, oh, you're so beautiful. And then I was like, now I'm going to make a big chop. Is it beautiful to people? And then I realized if it's beautiful to me, and that's all that matters really. So when I cut my hair and I looked at myself in the mirror, I was so amazed at how much I enjoyed it and how I loved the way that I looked. So coming into the Miss South Africa pageant, I had absolutely no reason to want to change the way that I looked, because I felt comfortable and I felt confident and I felt beautiful. So I was never going to change the way I look for anything.
You have a resilient spirit. I'm saying that because you participated in 2017 in the Miss SA pageant, and you made it to the semi-finalists, right? And you came back. Or other people might not necessarily have that courage. Where does that spirit come from?
Sure. Probably from my mom and dad, just their lessons growing up, them teaching me that if you hear people saying no to you 10 times and give up, then you're never going to make it in life. You have to hear people say no to you at least 100 times before you can actually get to where you want to get. And I knew that me getting a no then was not a no. It was a not right now situation. It might happen possibly later. It might not even happen through the Miss South Africa pageant. It might have happened some other way, but I knew that at some point something was going to happen, because I believed in it and because I worked extremely hard, to get to that place. So hearing no once is not a thing for me. I'm used to rejection at this point. I really am.
So what is that one thing that you think you did differently this time that made you get the title?
Purpose, really. Like I said, I had a much different purpose now, because back then when I did Miss South Africa, I'd just come out of school. I'd been financially excluded, and I just really needed something to make me feel good about myself, something to give me hope, that life was not the end of the world. And I had always loved beauty pageants, but then I was like, you know what, this time I'm just going to do this very quickly. And so my purpose really wasn't sure what's this word I'm looking for. It wasn't really something that I'd planned to do. It was like a last minute thing. But this time around, coming back, I'd actually gained my purpose from my last time I was here, because when I made it into the semi-finals, it meant so much for people in my village, and they kept on inboxing me, sending me DMs and telling me how much this means to them. And so I thought, if this is the uproar we made just by being in the semi-finals, imagine what we could do if we actually won the whole thing. And so I had more purpose and will to come back and win the competition.
Speaking of people from your village,
yes,
you went back home too.
Yes, I did.
I don't even have words to express, and explain the welcoming that you received. What did did that mean to you?
I know, it was incredible, right? Even for me, I still can't believe. I mean, when I landed Mthatha at the airport and I saw all those people waiting there, I started shaking. And my sister was like, but like you walked in front of thousands of people and millions who are watching. Why are you nervous now? And I'm like, I've been so far away from people. This is the first time that I'm actually, coming into people and connecting with people. And I didn't realize that it had touched people this much. And so that was the first time that I had encountered, how much the pageant and my win meant to people. It's the most, I don't know, I can't even explain it. It's the most amazing feeling anyone could ever feel, to know that people don't even know you, but they support you and they support your story because they see themselves in you. You are a reflection of them at the end of the day. And so it was incredible.
Beautiful. It was so beautiful.
It was beautiful.
So heartwarming.
Thank you.
Now, what makes you embrace all of you? Because in that, there was church, and there was, I don't know, was it
tradition?
You took to the stage and you joined Omama Bomkhenzo. What makes you to be able to fuse all of that, and why do you do it like that?
I grew up in a household where both things were important to me. My dad always said, your ancestors had a God. And as much as we believe in them, we have to believe in their God as well. And so I really had that balance growing up. And for my homecoming, if I didn't have both of them, it wouldn't have made sense to me. And so I really had to have a fusion of both of them in there and to embrace all of them. Because when I pray to God. And I talk to my ancestors as well, and I ask them for guidance and for them to bring in light. And so for me to have both of the things happening at once was absolutely amazing.
Very interesting indeed. After the break, we'll talk more to you about how the pageant, winning it actually, has changed your life, if it has changed it in any way in terms of lifestyle.
Hello, this is Tshofatso August Modiga Powers, and you're watching Living Life by Design with Amanda Matshaka.
Right.
Welcome back to Life by Design right here on Channel Africa, the African perspective. Today in studio we're joined by Miss South Africa, Zozibini Tunzi, who was speaking to her earlier on, checking how life has changed for her since her crowning. And she's had a crazy following since then. And speaking of a following, we asked her fans to send a couple of questions on WhatsApp. So this one is from Joyce Akumulafe from Johannesburg. She says, you have given some little girl in Duitwa or Tsolo a passport to dream and believe because of your achievement. Keep your eyes on the Lord and you will keep winning. So this one is more of a comment
thank you
and
so
an
much.
Encouragement to you. And Ujulile says, ask her if she's going to speak to the history of toxic femininity that lives amongst pageant queens, and she must name and shame while Women's Month is still on her side.
If I can speak on toxic femininity.
Yeah, in pageantry.
Sure, it's a very tough one, because when you step up into this platform, it's really your responsibility to pick what narrative you want to go with. And I really can't speak on behalf of the things that other people have done or said, but what I can do is to just rewrite, whatever people or stereotypes that they have, about beauty pageants by being, remaining the person that I am and doing good, because a lot of things have happened and she's not being delusional in her opinion, so I can't really take that away from her. It's something that she just noticed, something that has been happening. And for me, it's to say I have to just change that narrative by just flipping the script and shining positive light really on pageantry.
Wesley says, is she ready for the new popularity, and who would she have chosen to win if she was a judge?
Am I ready for the new popularity? I don't think you can ever be ready for this kind of thing, because I remember going to bed with about 5,000 followers and waking up to about 70,000, and today sitting at 150 something. It's still something that's very new to me, and I don't know how it happened. Well, I do know how it happened, but it's very... Yeah, I don't think you can ever get used to it. It's unreal. And what was the follow-up question again? Sorry.
If you were a judge,
who would I have chosen to win? I'd like to think I would have chosen myself, but if not myself, definitely Siba Balwe Qilishana. I just think she was absolutely brilliant throughout the competition, and she broke a lot of stereotypes and a lot of boundaries about what beauty pageants are, and she had such a magnificent message to carry. And I think should she have won, she would also have done, an amazing job carrying that cause and that message through.
Babongile says, what is your vision for South African women's rights?
I did speak a bit about this on the night of the pageant in my top 5 questions when they asked us what South African women have to smile about. And it's such a tough time in South Africa for South African women, and I do feel like a lot needs to be done, for women's rights to be protected. And I always said it's so tough to answer this question because they always ask women, what can women do for themselves? And I always say it's not really our fault, though, that we are where we are. So you shouldn't really be asking what women should do. You should be asking what the perpetrators should do to change what they're doing to women. So really, if we could all just try to get to a mutual ground of respecting women's rights and ensuring that women's rights are carried through, because we're doing all that we can, really. It's just up to the other people to help us through as well. So...
And there's also a voice note that came through, so let's hear that one.
What would she say to the 16-year-old her who didn't know that one day she'd be Miss SA? How would she encourage her? How would she motivate her? How would she, because she knows where she is today and what she went through, how would she keep that teenage girl hopeful?
Sure, to my 16-year-old self, who was still in high school, still a bit shy, still wasn't confident in herself, still didn't think that maybe she would be here today. I would tell her that you are about to go through a lot of things. You are still going to hit a lot of rocky bottoms and a lot of high highs. And I'll just tell her, to just be more confident in herself, really. That's the one message I tell her, that it's still going to be amazing, that she's still going to inspire, a lot of people, even though it wasn't her intention, but it's going to happen, and that she needs to be ready and she needs to, welcome the challenge and just try to work towards being the woman that other 16-year-olds should look up to in the future.
Mm-hmm. Now, you've chosen education to be the area that you focus on during your reign.
Yes.
And this was inspired particularly by the difficult situations that kids in the Eastern Cape are facing. What exactly are you going to do for the province during your reign?
Sure, I was just answering that question this morning. It's not something I can speak about now because it's still a work in progress, but it's absolutely exciting, and I did speak on education, and I really will be working towards that. And it's not only mainly going to be in the Eastern Cape as well, because at the end of the day I am in Miss South Africa, and so I really have to branch out into other provinces as well, and to just try and help out in the education sector as much as possible. So I don't really have a lot of content for you right now about that, but as soon as I'm given a go-ahead to, talk about it, then definitely people will be hearing about it.
It would be beautiful to see at least one school where they are using, those mud huts
to
as
actually have a
or
school.
using trees to actually have a school, because you are
because
an
I'm
SA
here.
that comes from Eastern Cape, particularly in Tsolo.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would really make a big difference. So after the break, we're going to talk some more to Miss SA.
Hello, my name is Solomon Izanga Shams, and you're watching Life by Design.
Welcome back to Life by Design right here on Channel Africa, where we give you news, views and interviews from an African perspective. And today in studio we are joined by Miss South Africa, Zozibini Tunzi, and we're talking about how life has changed for her in the 1.5 week.
Yes.
So much has happened.
Hasn't even been 2 weeks yet, but I feel like it's been a whole year already.
It's so crazy.
Yes.
And us being Channel Africa, we speak to Africans. It's not just South Africans that we're speaking to. There are listeners in different parts of the continent. And I would like to bring you in and hear your comments on the newly crowned Miss London, who is a Zimbabwean lady, an African lady.
Yes.
How refreshing is that, though?
Absolutely. I mean, if we look back many years from now, an African beauty probably wasn't even considered a beauty. And it's so sad to think that even in 2019, in some places, African beauty is not considered, beauty, because beauty has been westernized in so many ways. And so for them in London, a European place for them to crown a Zimbabwean black woman as, their Miss London is absolutely refreshing. And it shows me that we are, indeed going towards the right direction, and that, there's still hope, for the world.
And what would you say to that little girl in the DRC, in an area that is plagued by violence? There's rebels, there's wars, there's disease, and they are wondering, okay, I've got the look because of the, I'm weird, in inverted commas, because I'm tall and I'm skinny, but it's actually something that she can embrace and use in the world of pageants. What would you say to that girl?
It's so difficult, especially for kids. I like to say children sometimes can, because of not understanding themselves, can come across as mean and bully other kids. And for that child who is long and dark skin, I'd like to tell her that she's extremely beautiful, and I wish she could look outwards and look at what other people are doing, the likes of Olupita Nyong'o. We have Alec Weck, models who are, breaking boundaries and just introducing this kind of African beauty to the world. And I just hope that they're assured that they are beautiful and they are magnificent, and that it doesn't really matter what the world has been saying about Africans, and that it's our time now, really. It's our time to really just rise and shine and show the world who we are.
And that her environment right now will not dictate to what you
exactly
will become.
What you will be in the future.
Yeah. So you're preparing for Miss Universe.
Yes.
How is that going? What is your winning plan?
My winning plan is just really to be myself in the way that I've been. And I love how South Africans have embraced it. And I'm hoping that the world, the universe, will embrace that as well. We were just speaking about a westernized beauty and an African beauty. So it's going to be so interesting for me to introduce them, to a different kind of Miss South Africa. They've had a lot of Miss South Africas in the past, and we've done absolutely amazing at the Miss Universe platform. I mean, we have Demiline Peters, who won Miss Universe. We have Tamron Green, who was, came first, second place, to the winner. And they are kind of now looking into South Africa and trying to see what else they can bring. And so I think it's interesting for them to have this different kind of look now. And, there've been people talking about it, commenting on the hair, on the way that I look. And so I'm interested to just bring that, refreshing difference and to just show them that, South African women are amazing, we're diverse, and yeah.
And your win has made women so proud, the young, the old. And we've got a mama who sent a message that, Mtanami, you have to make sure that you read this for Zozi. Okay. It's written in Xhosa. It says, Kuwe Zozibini, ndingathi kuni okokuqala kuwe qobokazana. Lingalala endleleni yazini kunyembelekile. Siyazi ngawe kwanga uNkulunkulu anganawe kuze umhlaba ungakuguquli. Kwanga izethembiso zakho zingaphumelela ngamane uNkulunkulu akwenze umzekelo kwabasakhulayo kuze nabo balwele ikamva eliqhakazileyo njengawe qhawekazi nzwakazi yamigxobhozo. That is just so beautiful. It's an encouragement from a mother who is also a listener of Channel Africa, wishing Zozibini well, and that the rain, will not change her, and she will still stand up for what is right and continue to shine. What do you say to that?
Firstly, ndiyabulela kakhulu mama. I've been seeing a lot of messages like that, and it's starting to really sink in that this is not just about me. The win was never, about me. It was for us. It was for the people and for their children as well. I mean, I got a message of a woman who said her 4-year-old was extremely excited when I won because I looked like her. And it means so much to me, because then it means it's a beacon of hope, really, for people to know that they too, no matter where they come from, can dream big, because we come from a place of broken dreams, really. In fact, we're not even allowed to dream where we come from, because it's quite difficult to follow up on your dreams because of circumstances. And so for me to be standing here as a beacon of hope to people, I still feel like I'm undeserving. I feel like I'm young, and it touches me so much that what I did has touched so many people as well. And I'm so grateful for it, and I don't take it for granted in any way. And I just hope that throughout my reign, I'll make those people proud to, be from where we come from.
And which beauty queen do you look up to, and why?
Sure. Peggy Sue Khumalo is amazing. She really used the platform not only to do great, for the country and to society, but to elevate herself as well. I mean, now she's in corporate South Africa doing amazing things, which goes to show that this really is a platform for women to empower and to be empowered, and that it doesn't just end here at this Miss South Africa reign. There's life beyond that, and that you have to use this platform as well to elevate yourself. So I absolutely love what she did. Jackie Mufeking as well. I mean, she broke boundaries as being the first black Miss South Africa, and I'm sure she was extremely scared at the time. I remember listening to an interview where she said she was on radio and people kept on calling her monkey, and that she's the most ugliest Miss South Africa they've ever had. And I had a little taste of that on my own after I won. I mean, I'm not going to compare myself to her and say we went through the same thing, because we didn't. But I know how it feels for people to say, "Oh, this Miss South Africa looks a little suspicious," because of how different I look to what they used
or
to.
Some people saying that, what's the hype? I mean,
What's
she's
the
not
hype?
the first person to be wearing her hair natural.
You know what I mean?
Da, 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 da.
So yeah, she's one of the women that inspires me because she was courageous. It took courage, really, to know that you are in a South Africa that is not welcoming of black people, and still going into a platform that is full of racism, and still pushing yourself to go, and then to win is it's absolutely incredible.
Now, I came across a comment where you were saying that you look up to someone that was looking after you, or your sister?
Yes, my sister. So
Yes.
that's my sister's nanny. Oh my gosh, she's
why
so
is
amazing.
that? Why do you look up to her?
Sure. I mean, it's so difficult for helpers and nannies to leave their families and to go to be with other families and raise children of other families, knowing that you have kids at home that are waiting for you to be a mother as well, just because you didn't have opportunities to go to school and be educated enough to spend time with your family. And so she hasn't only been doing that for my family, but she did it for other families as well for years. She's been doing it only because she's trying to get a better life for her children so that they don't have to go through what she's going through. And she's an elderly woman who's been doing this for years, and it just touches me really, because it really is a story of, South African women, of South African households, because women have been carrying their families for years and years on their backs, and she is just a symbol of all those women. And so for me, I look up to her so much, because now her children and her children's children will be telling a story of how she worked extremely hard and got them to where they are today.
Now, again, I will take it back to our continent. We live in a divided society as Africans.
Yes.
What is the one message as we close that would give our listeners, our African brothers and sisters? I believe that this day and age, we shouldn't be talking about issues of xenophobia and stuff like that. So what would you say to them in order to make sure that they come together as a unit, because they are?
I just wish we could realize that we are human first before we are South African or Nigerian or Congolese. We're human first, and we are all Africans, and we're all on the same side, because that's what it is. We're on the same side. And so for us to be fighting each other is extremely sad, because there are other people on the outside fighting us as well. And so for us to be divided it's extremely ridiculous. And I wish that we could get to a place where we could realize that we're all African, and we need to work with each other to bring, Africa to just be a more better continent, because South Africa is really one of the greatest continents in the world.
Yes,
natural resources, the people as well are incredible. And so I just hope we realize that one day, so that we can really become the super continent that we were always meant to be.
Well, thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor to have you with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I loved the conversation.
Thank you. So this has been Life by Design on Channel Africa, the African Perspective. Remember, you can connect with us on Facebook. It's Living Life by Design. On Twitter, it's at living_LBD, as well as on Instagram at living_life by design. From myself, Amanda Matshaka, producers Bradley Chabalala and Yami Ntlenyama, as well as technical producer Wiseman Manele. Till next time, and remember, you are the architect of your life.
Life by Design